And welcome to the weekly headmaster interview.
I have with me now Miss Gifkin. What are some of the upcoming events?
Thank you. Well, we're really excited about the start of sports on the Tuesday and Thursday, so it's going to be a real feather in our caps and keeping us active through Term 3 and Term 4. So that's really exciting, and Mr McElwraith is busy working with a group of parents about the upcoming ski competitions and some sports exchanges as well. So we're very excited about how this term is positioning St George's.
How do you think Term 3 had gone so far?
Well, I was just talking to Year 4-6 this morning, and they were heading out on a trip to the museum, and I think it started really, really well. I love the grooming of our students, wearing their uniform with pride. People are feeling quite refreshed, and staff and our students, and so it's been a really lovely, joyful start to Term 3.
Is there anything the parents need to know for the upcoming family chapel service?
Great. As always, looking forward to gathering together as a community in prayer and in our love of the Anglican ethos. And so coming together on each Sunday during the term is going to be really special for us. Also, we've got the quiz night coming up, the parents and friends, and so I'd encourage you to get your tickets booked to either a table, and also the men in our community are encouraged to make a chocolate cake. Who wants that?
Thank you, Miss Gifkin, for letting us interview.
Today we'll be interviewing Mr Smith about chess. Can you tell us about the upcoming chess tournament?
Yes, Bella. So starting next week, we're going to be having the school, or St George's chess tournament. So that's a junior and senior event. The draws are made and completed, and they will be available to you on Monday morning straight away. So please check the notice board for your match. It'll also go up on Class Dojo also for everybody to have a look at. Okay, so that will be running up until the end of Term 3, with the final the last week of Term 3. And hopefully we can see if we can get a new junior champion, and if we can see if Liam Mayer can repeat his efforts from last year with a second victory in the senior tournament. Okay?
I heard that there was an upcoming church and school tournament as well. Could you explain more about it?
No problem. Yeah, so we'll have the Term 3 Wanganui Regional Tournament. So this is an opportunity for students to, if they do well in it and get a placing, that they can go to nationals up in Rotorua, Labour Weekend in October. That will be on Tuesday, the 31st of August. It'll run from 9 a.m. until 2:15. It's a pretty cool day, even lots of prizes, badges, and certificates. But yeah, so get yourself into your tournament at school, get playing. Myself and Mr. Hayward will be keeping an eye out on players and seeing then if we can take you then to the regional tournament. And hopefully we can do well just like we did in Term 1.
Is there any more things you want us to know about Chess Club?
Other than chess is just awesome. Come along if you want to give your brain a workout. Come along on a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, first break and second break. It's great for developing resilience, brain cognitive ability, and just giving your brain and meeting a lot of people. Okay, so please come along, come in, have a game, and try and learn a new skill. Okay?
Thank you for telling us about it.
We have a Royal Blues News challenge for you.
You have to make a slide from PowerPoint to have in the background slide for the headmaster's weekly interview.
Email it to this email address and make sure you email it by August 17th. You will be in to win a secret prize, and you also have your slide in the background of Miss Gifkin's interview till the end of the year.
We hope you try your best and give it a go. We will present the winner in Week 4 Assembly.
Thank you.
Hello, today we're here to interview Dr. Ashley Bloomfield, the Director General of Health.
Hi, Dr. Ashley Bloomfield. Today we're going to ask you some questions.
What do you like to do in your free time?
Well, kia ora koutou. What I love to do in my free time is spend as much time as possible with my family, and I also really enjoy biking. So I've got actually about 7 different bikes. So on the weekends I pick a bike and go off for a ride, either mountain biking or sometimes more along the riverbank, nice Hutt River, Te Awa Kairangi, it's got a beautiful cycle path. So that's one of my favourite things to do. And when I'm on holiday, I try to take regular holidays because that's important for keeping well. I love going, just into the mountains, into the bush, either tramping or skiing.
What was your dream job when you were young?
Oh, my dream job when I was young, probably I think I wanted to be a pilot, actually. I haven't ended up doing that, but I still am fascinated by flying in the aircraft. And I'm 55 now, but I still would quite like to learn to fly, and I think I'm going to do that sometime.
Have you always lived in New Zealand?
I've lived in New Zealand for most of my life. I've spent about 3 years overseas at different times, and for one of those years, 10 years ago in 2011, our whole family shifted to live. I had a job with the World Health Organization in Geneva in Switzerland, and we actually lived just over the border in France. So every day I would cross the border to go to work on my bike, and we had a lovely year living in France, so that was really a special time for us.
What is your favourite sport and do you support a team?
I grew up playing rugby from age 4, and so I love my rugby. I love watching the All Blacks, of course. But if I think about here in New Zealand, I'm a Hurricane supporter, and for anyone who's a Hurricane supporter, you know that has its ups and a lot of downs, but I've stuck with them through thick and thin, and really love going to watch them play, and of course always to watch the ABs play live is fantastic.
What's your favourite food?
Now this is interesting because someone asked me this a couple of days ago. Actually, my really top favourite food is rice pudding, homemade rice pudding. So there's an unusual thing. But for a main meal, I think there's nothing like a really good stew with mashed potato. That's something I really enjoy.
Where is your dream holiday and why?
Oh, my dream holiday would be cycling somewhere, probably cycling around Europe, and that's something my wife and I did when we were young, before we had children, about 26 years ago, maybe more, and so I'd love to go back there and do some more biking around Europe. That's what I love to do, is on the weekends is look at books about places I could bike around Europe.
Was it weird when people made t-shirts with your face on them?
Very weird, and even weirder when I see people walking down the street wearing the t-shirts. But it's quite a lovely thing. The main t-shirt, the one that says underneath it, the Curb Crusher, that raised $150,000 for Women's Refuge, so that was great. All I had to do, and I didn't even know, but all I had to do was provide the face for it, so that was nice. One of the things I would say is that still every day, something I had to get used to is people recognising me wherever I am, and it's lovely. People always every day come up to me to say thanks to you and your team for helping look after us and keeping us safe. So it's nice that people recognise the work that the team's done to look after New Zealand.
Why did you want to be a doctor?
Oh, well, when I was about year 10 or 11, I did a tour of the hospital here in Wellington. I can still remember it. I got inspired by that, and so I decided, yes, to study sciences, and then that I would try to get into medical school. And so probably from about age 15, I decided I wanted to study medicine, and I feel really privileged that I had that opportunity to study at Auckland University. And even though I'm not a doctor who treats patients or sees patients every day, I haven't done that for about 25 years, I still every day use my medical training and my work to sort of help inform all the work I do, so it's been a real privilege to be able to study this.
Who do you look up to and why?
Who do I look up to? Well, I look up to anybody who is serving other people, and so they may be not necessarily people in leadership positions, but people who are working selflessly in their communities to improve the lives of other people. So people who are just involved with either churches or non-government organisations like Women's Refuge or the Wellington City Mission, but who actually are just devoting their life to service. I think service is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and it fits with that notion of kindness as well, which was of course part of our thing that we decided to do when we went into the lockdown last year. So stay home, save lives, be kind. Being kind to other people is something I really admire in others, and I try to aspire to be kind myself.
What do you do to unwind?
Oh, I love listening to music, and one of the things I really enjoy is, one of the things I love about Spotify is you can read a review or hear a new album that's come out, and you can just download it and have a listen to it. And sometimes I think it's not quite my thing, but I love just following new music. We've got some fantastic New Zealand new artists coming out all the time, especially women singers, and I just love downloading their albums and listening to that. It really helps me unwind. And I also play the guitar, so that's also something that's good fun. There's nothing like having a good old sing. And my wife and I love dancing. We get quite a party together. First on the dance floor, it's a great way to get your hair down.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, I've got a beautiful dog. His name is Baxter. He's 9 years old and he's a Labradoodle. So he's about this big, and he's very ginger. But he's a wonderful little fellow, and he's very much a part of our family. And we've always had dogs in our family. And for those of you who have pets, especially dogs, how important they are and how much they're great.
If you were stuck on an island, which famous person would you want to be with?
Oh, which famous person would I want to be with? Gosh, there's a trick. I think I'd really like to be with Sir Edmund Hillary, who climbed Mount Everest, just to be really interested in his story, and in particular I'm really inspired by people who have done great things. There's a great saying, isn't there? There are no extraordinary people, just ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So I'm really inspired by ordinary people that have done extraordinary things. And someone who's inspired me a lot, and this maybe goes back to one of your earlier questions in the last week, is Emma Twigg, who won the rowing gold at the Olympics. She came fourth place in 2 Olympics in a row, and this was her 4th Olympics. And I think, gosh, that is so inspiring that she kept going and showed such great commitment and courage and tenacity when it would have been so easy, even after that first 4th place, to say, oh, well, I've devoted so much of my life to rowing, and I've given that away now, I've done it, but she's kept at it, and that is just such a lesson. So maybe either Sir Edmund Hillary, or if it could be someone who's alive, I'd love to spend some time with Emma Twigg just finding out how it is that she remains so motivated.
What's your advice on being a good leader?
Well, my advice on being a good leader is, first of all, do the simple things really well. The best leaders are the ones that do the basics well. So they communicate really well. They put it saying, here's the why of what we're doing, and here's our sense of purpose. And they don't spend too much time trying to tell people how to do it, because people know how to get on it. They've got to, and what to do if they know what the reason is. And that's what got us through COVID so well. People understood why we needed to go into lockdown, and they did it really well. So the other thing is be yourself. So when I did my first stand-up on the 27th of January last year, I just was being myself, and all the way through, even once I became more well-known and there was quite a lot of things like T-shirts and other things, I was still just trying to be myself and be really true to your values. And my key values are ones of kindness, humility, and compassion.
Thank you so much for your time. On behalf of St George's and the Royal Blues News, we would like to say a massive thank you.
Well, thank you to you. Big shout out to you and all the kids at St George's. Thanks for what you've done over the last 18 months to contribute to our effort to keep COVID out and keep up the great work. It's been wonderful talking to you this morning. Kia ora koutou.